Okay, we're back. Sit down, boy. You're making me nervous. Jason and Ethan here, playing a solo style campaign of AD&D. Last time, our last video, we determined that we are going to be in this hex right here in the Duchy of Ten, north of Nevon-Nevnend. Oh, I said it correctly this time. And also, last time, I made an obscure, not really obscure, but I made a movie reference at the beginning of the video. And everybody who commented on the video that we posted said something about the movie reference. So I think I'm going to start with a movie reference every time because that's a popular thing. Sure. Okay, so here's what I had to say. I want my $2 worth of AD&D. That's my movie reference. Do you know what that's from?
No.
No? Say it louder, man.
No,
okay.
I do not.
We're recording this with a crappy cell phone. That's from a John Cusack movie from the 80s called Better Off Dead.
Okay.
And it's...
That's on my watch list.
Is it?
It is.
You need to watch it.
Yeah, I will. I have hundreds of movies on my watch list.
You're not getting any younger.
That's true, but the movies are getting worse. So I should have plenty of time in the future.
The movies...
To watch old movies.
Right, yeah, well...
That's my point.
Well, life is funny. Get to it, boy. All right, anyway. It's a funny movie. But it's really weird. Like, there's a scene where a hamburger at a fast food restaurant jumps off the griddle and it becomes claymation, and there's a whole montage of this hamburger playing a Van Halen song.
Sounds great.
Yeah. And then throughout the entire movie, there's a newspaper boy, a kid on a bike, chasing John Cusack, and he keeps showing up saying, I want my $2. So that's like the biggest takeaway from that movie.
Okay.
Yeah. Anyway, okay, we're back to playing a solo campaign, sort of. So, okay, so we... so this is interesting. Okay, so we decided last time... Oh, man, did I already lose everything? Okay, here it is. Last time we played, we decided to use the village map on page 44 of Village Book 1 by Judges Guild. Let's see, what is the date on this? Print date, publication date. I see nothing. I have no idea. I'm going to go with late 70s, just judging by the fact that it's in black and white. Okay, we decided to pick for our starting village. We already know. Where did I put it? We already know that we're going to use In Search of the Unknown as our starting dungeon. But we needed a starting town, and we kind of randomly picked this map on page 44 of Village Book 1 for our starting town. But what I noticed after we stopped recording last time is that this is not the orientation of the map. The map is supposed to be orientated this way. We were looking at it in portrait, but you can tell it's supposed to be oriented this way because these little tiny numbers in each hex are oriented this way. So this is supposed to be north. This is supposed to be south on this hex. So that kind of, we had all these plans about what we were going to do, where this road would go, where this road would go. We had all these plans. I feel like that light is making a shadow now. It's bothering me. But anyway, we had all these plans. How does it look there?
It looks okay.
It looks okay. We had all these plans and about where this road would go and this road would go, but it turns out we were looking at the map the wrong way. You're supposed to look at these maps in portrait. In landscape. This way, not this way, which is portrait. So that kind of changed things up a little bit. So I printed off the page. And I started coloring in the... whoops, see, I'm already doing it wrong. I started coloring in the forest, the swamp, the water I made blue so you can kind of see where the water's flowing. And there's a couple little lakes with some swamp in between. There's no compass rose on any of these maps, so we're just going to say that way is north. What else? Scale. There's no scale on these maps. And we were looking at it. It can't be a 1 mile hex. If these are little squares are houses in a village, there's no way this is a 1 mile hex. It must be much smaller. It must be like a half-mile hex.
Maybe even smaller.
Maybe could that be a 1/4 mile hex? Do you think?
Maybe. I mean,
if that's a 1/4 mile hex, what are these little tiny hexes? Are they like 50 feet? What the hell?
I don't know. I mean, assuming that like these very small buildings are like 10 feet, maybe. Right. So that's like a 20-foot hex. And I don't know. We got like one.
He's counting, folks.
It's about 25 up and down.
So 250 feet. They're not
so
10
if they're
foot.
if they're 20 feet, I mean, if they're 20-foot hexes,
20
that's 500 feet.
500 feet. So it's not a half a mile.
No.
So,
it's like a third.
What the heck, Judges Guild? What? Nowhere in the book does it say what the scale is on these hexes. Nowhere in the book. And I looked at this, the campaign hexagon system, and I can't find in here where it shows a scale. So I guess I don't know. I need to know what the scale is. So what so our map scale is, we're using the Darlene map. It's 30 mile hexes. So here's a 30 mile hex with 3 mile hexes inside of it. So each one of these hexes is 30 miles. I colored in the hex where we're putting our village because we know it's mostly grassland. Everything that's not colored in here is just grassland. So, and also we know from the Darlene map that it's mostly grassland. And we decided that's where our starting dungeon is going to be. I colored that in as hills, light brown for hills. And then the hex on the edge of it, I colored in as mountains. Gray. I'm using gray for mountains because the hex that we're using right here is bordered north and northeast by mountains. So, I mean, this doesn't have to be mountains. I just made it mountains. But I think this does have to be either mountains or hills because the dungeon is built into the side of a hill.
Mm-hmm. I agree.
And these are 3 mile hexes. So that's all we have so far. Okay, I'm going to digress a little bit. So there's this guy, Tim Kask, who has a YouTube channel called Curmudgeon in the Cellar, but that's not what he's known for. He was the first employee of TSR back in the day, the people who made this. And why am I talking about Tim Kask out of the blue? My son is looking at me, I'm wondering. So Tim Kask was the first employee of TSR. He was an editor of the Strategic Review. He edited the second supplement and third supplement, maybe fourth supplement for original D&D. He was the founding editor of Dragon Magazine. And then he made one of the owners of TSR upset, got himself fired, went off and did another magazine called Adventure Gaming Magazine that only lasted, 8 or 10 issues before it folded. It wasn't very good. I keep looking at it, looking for interesting stuff, and it wasn't very good. But anyway, Tim Kask is still around. He has a YouTube channel every Friday night. He talks about D&D and he answers people in the comments of his previous video. So can you pull out your phone and pull up our previous video?
Yeah.
and we'll just go through the comments, because I don't want to answer people in the comments. I just want to say, hey, thanks for chiming in. Can we do that?
Yes, I'm pulling up the
Okay.
video.
So one of the comments is from you. I'm not going to answer you. Oh, don't play it.
I have to pull it automatically plays when you open it.
We're having a father-son argument, folks.
If you told me before, then I would have had it open.
Yeah, but then that would seem like we know what we're doing if we plan this out in advance.
Damn, you're right.
All right, and
Okay.
I have no idea what I'm doing. I'm just playing D&D. Okay. I have a friend who calls it D&D. Jonathan.
Yeah. Yeah, that's true.
Yeah. He's like, let's play some D&D. Okay, that's how he talks. Okay, so let's see. So we got a couple commenters. You don't have to show it. Just play it. Just read it. Like, who's the first comment from?
All right.
Not you, but
I know, not me. All right. First comment was from at Michael Gross 13.
All right, stop. Michael Gross.
Yeah.
I just want to say, I kind of know this guy. So Michael, I used to call him Mike. Online he goes by the name Zudrak. He and I used to hang out in an online voice chat channel called Grey Talk. And it's just Greyhawk setting nerds talking about the Greyhawk setting live 24 hours a day. They organize, I think, like on Monday or Sunday nights, they organize a get together where like there's 20 or 30 people in there chatting away. But you used to be, it's still there, I think. You go in there and you just talk about anything, and it's a crazy place because like you could be on there at 3 o'clock in the morning and listen to two guys in Scotland argue about communism, or you could be on there seriously, like that's happened to me, or you could be on there with like somebody who used to write stuff for TSR back in the day and actually be talking about different ideas for how to use the Greyhawk setting. It's a cool place. But Mike and I used to kind of hang out and talk in there because he's an AD&D guy. He's a TSR D&D guy. He's a fan of this stuff. And not everybody in the Greyhawk fan community, it's a weird thing. There's people in there who play D&D and love Greyhawk, but there's people in there who just like to write stuff for Greyhawk. They don't even play role-playing games. There's people in there who use like a Wizards of the Coast game, or there's people who use Hero System or Pathfinder or Castles and Crusades from Troll Lord Games. There's people in there who use different games to play Greyhawk, but Mike and I had kind of common ground because we were both D&D Greyhawk fans. So anyway, recently I saw him online somewhere doing an interview. He went from being a fan to being an author because, congratulations, Mike, so cool. Apparently he hooked up with Frog God Games and he authored or helped author a bestiary that was kickstarted recently for Frog God Games. So, Mike, if you're watching, good for you, man. That's awesome. If I can, I can't remember the name of the bestiary. I don't have it. If I can, I'll look online later and maybe put a link in a pinned comment or something. But I hope you sell 1 billion books, dude. Good for you. Okay, who's the next comment? Oh, what did he say? What was his comment?
I thought I was the only one that still used that quote from the Golden Child.
Yeah. Yeah, it's when you see the movie, for some reason that line just sticks in your head. Yeah, okay, go ahead.
Okay, we then have, I hope I'm saying this right, Mike Hedimart.
Oh my God, you slaughtered it.
Okay, sorry, you say
Mike.
It. Oh, with a Y. Okay, Mike Dimart. It's one word and there's no...
It's definitely Mike.
Okay.
Mike.
Well, it's MyKediemart. No spaces, no capital letters.
Yeah, so
I'm doing my best here.
I read it as Mike Dimart, but it could be Dimart.
You're probably right. Something closer to that, not Mike Hedimart, so I apologize about that.
As a parent, every time my young son says you're probably right, it's a moment that is like magical. I just have to say. Okay. He's a good boy, folks. Okay. So Mike, like, it's really surprised. Hey, thanks, Mike, the other Mike, for Mike Dimart for popping into the comments, because Mike, I see he haunts the same places on YouTube that I haunt. Like like when I see somebody playing or talking about TSR era D&D on YouTube, I just like hit subscribe and I push the thumbs up button because I want to support people who are talking about a fun game. And I think Mike does the exact same thing because I see him in the comments section of all the other stuff that I watch. And so our first video, Mike pops up in the comments section. Thanks, Mike. Totally cool, Mike Dimart. We got 2 mics. Okay. All right, let's move on. So we need a starting town. And we have a map for a starting town. But there's a whole bunch of ways that we could go about this. I thought before we did the last video that I would be able to open this book and just find a town fully fleshed out with characters and everything. But that's not what this is. This has tables to roll up a town. And it's got a bunch of maps of a town. So if you roll up, I don't know, like if you roll up a town that doesn't match your map, I don't know what you're supposed to do.
I don't know.
It's weird. So if you roll up a town that doesn't match your map, then what's the point in having the map? And if you have a map that doesn't have any information about it, what's the point in having a map? I don't know. But so as we were ending our last session, and it's been like 7 days because I have a job and he's a college student, and we don't get to play D&D as much as we'd like.
I'm playing on Wednesday.
Yeah, he's playing. So we've been playing in an old school essentials campaign that kind of helps us get our D&D fix at a friendly local game store.
Yes.
Yeah, and Ethan's playing on Wednesday. I have to work. It used to be every Monday night, and I could go to every session, or twice a month on Monday nights. Now it's 4 times a month, but it's on different nights, and sometimes it's popping up on nights that I can't go because I have to work. And yeah. Also, we were getting like 11 or 12 players a session, and the DM decided fairly that it's too much. And so now he just invites like 6 or 7 people to each session based on availability. So it's possible to be available and yet not be invited to the session. That's happened to me a bunch of times. So anyway, it's we're having a fun time with it. We're just players in it. Yeah. Right?
Yes.
Move on?
Yep.
Okay. Okay, so
Sorry for sidetracking you.
no, it's okay.
Okay.
Okay, we need a starting village. There's multiple ways to do this. We could just hand wave it. We could just say, we don't need a map. We don't need like a list of NPCs. We don't need to know that there's a blacksmith named John Bohampton in the town. Like we don't need to know how many milkmaids are in the town. We could just hand wave it and say, this is our starting town. We can get basic supplies there. When we level up, we can find somebody to train us. We could just hand wave it, right? And just have this abstract starting town. I don't want to do that. It's cool. Lots of DMs do that. I've done it in the past, but this time I want to get into the weeds, and
I agree. I feel like it would be cool to have something fleshed out.
An actual town.
Yeah.
So that if we end up with a town that doesn't have a blacksmith, we might have to go somewhere else to buy our armor or get our armor fixed. Or if we have a town that doesn't have some magic user in it who can train us when our magic user levels up, we might have to go somewhere else to get our training. Like that's more realistic, more of a living, a real feeling campaign to me.
Yeah.
Right? You agree?
I agree.
Okay. So we're going to get into the weeds, and so I started looking through my collection. what we're going to do is we're going to go through this, and we're going to actually, so fast forward if you want to, or stop watching. I don't know, but we're going to actually go through all these tables and roll up a town and see what happens. And it might be something cool, and it might be something totally unusable. If we get something that just doesn't work, we can set it aside and maybe use it later. But I started looking through my collection. All right, and I have all kinds of ways to make a town. I have all kinds of ways to make a town for D&D. So I've got this, and I've got these, and these need to be talked about a little bit. And I might be putting people to sleep. I don't care, because this is interesting. This is a book. All right, I don't even know where to start. Let me start with Midkemia Press. And Ethan, I think I told you about them, but how far back do I go? All right, let's go all the way back to D&D. Sorry, I'm digressing really far back. One of the things that I enjoy about this game is that it's like a muse. It inspires you. It inspires you to make maps. It inspires you to learn about geography and geology and demographics and history and mythology. It's because all of that is wrapped up in the game, and it is a fun way to learn about those things. It expands your vocabulary because you run into words in here you never heard before. Mm-hmm. So it expands your vocabulary. So it's a creative muse, right? The ancient Greeks and Romans had this idea of these goddesses, these muses who inspired artists and writers and poets and sculptors. And this is a muse. It's a modern day muse because the people who play this game, they sit down and they make maps and they write stories based on their campaigns or based on their campaign setting. They create characters. This is such a creative muse, and artwork like this inspires people to try drawing and making artwork. The game is such a creative muse, and over the years, if you play D&D, you know this. I'm not telling you anything you don't already know, but over the years, lots of people have played the game and published what they've come up with. Just cottage industry, people in an apartment, people in their parents' garage, in their parents' basement. Yes, in their parents' basement. People, whatever, sitting at the dining room table in their house, playing D&D and going, you know what? Let's write that up and let's try to publish it. And so this Midkemia Press, what did I do? I just lost something. Midkemia Press was basically a bunch of people out in San Diego playing D&D and homebrewing some things, making their own campaign, and their campaign world was called Midkemia. Okay? And so when they decided to start publishing their stuff, this I think is a first printing. It's like black and white and pretty basic. This was done, so later on they hooked up with a game company called Chaosium, and Chaosium did printings of their stuff. Their first printings are kind of expensive, more money than I'm going to spend on them. And some of their second printings, some of their stuff is hard to explain. Is hard to buy because it's expensive. I'm not real clear on whether this stuff is still in print. I don't think it is. I haven't seen a modern copy, a modern printing of any of their stuff. However, they do have a website. It's an old website from the 90s. It doesn't look like it's been updated in a long time. If you look at their website, it looks like they still sell their stuff, but I'm not real clear on that. So before you put any credit card numbers on their website or send PayPal to their website, you might want to check with them and make sure that there's actually a person on the other side of that website. But there is still a Midkemia Press website that's online. This stuff is, as far as I know, not real easy to get your hands on. It's expensive. I ended up picking this up super cheap for like $20 plus shipping. This I think I paid $30 for. But everything I see now is being listed for much higher, $50 to start plus shipping. Some of them are much more expensive. Anyway, here's what I have that they did. This book here, Cities, is very cool because it's a system for you to randomly generate a city for your D&D campaign. Let me go back to Midkemia Press, because not only did they did this stuff, one of their players borrowed the name of the setting, Midkemia, and he started writing books, and he got published, and he has sold many. He became a very successful author, started playing D&D with his buddies in San Diego, ended up becoming a writing down. I'm tripping over my own tongue, but he became a very successful author. His name is Raymond E. Feist. This is showing up. And he wrote that, 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 and I don't even have all the things that he wrote. He might still be writing. I don't know. But he uses Midkemia as the setting for his books. And if you read these books, they read like a D&D campaign. Like the characters, they progress like a D&D character would progress in a D&D game.
That's funny.
Yeah, but they're really good. Oh, wait, I've got more. Oops, I just realized I didn't grab all of them. He wrote that, and he wrote that.
So you've got two of these, I think.
Oh, really?
You've got one right here. Right?
Ah.
Yeah.
Ah. Interesting.
2 copies. Very cool.
Yeah. So it all started with a bunch of people, or kids probably. They're probably quite young.
I don't think they can hear you over there. I would wait.
Oh, you can't hear me?
I don't know. I'm just saying you're far away, talking in the wrong direction. So.
Okay. So it all started with people just playing D&D, and this is just one third-party group. That there's so much stuff out there. Sorry, I know I'm not facing the right direction. I gotta put my books away. Sorry.
He is currently putting away his books.
Okay.
There we go. He's back.
I'm back. Okay, so this is cool, but I think not for the reason that they intended it to be cool. It says a guide for all role-playing games. That's code for D&D because they didn't want to get sued. City encounters, city populating, and character catch-up. Okay, what does that mean? So there's tables in here. There's a way in here to generate towns, who you find in a town. If you go into a town, you can go to a table here and see who you run into. Mm-hmm. City encounters, city populating. Okay. Mm-hmm. But this is really cool, I think, because, and it's the first that I know of, it's got downtime rules for downtime. Like there are people now, like our DM in our OSE campaign is using downtime rules that he got out of some zine, I think. But what people don't know is, like, this was first published in like 1978. Like, this is a second edition version where they kind of added some things and cleaned up some things, and it's got color on the cover. But it's got, so say you're in town and you're waiting for your warrior, your fighter, to get his hit points back. Okay, and say you're in town for a week. Well, what happens during that week? Well, they've got rules in here for what happens during that week. Maybe you get into a bar fight. Maybe you win a bunch of money gambling. Maybe you insult somebody's daughter and get into a feud with some family in town. Like, that's all in here. Mm-hmm. So I think the downtime rules in here are much more interesting than the city stuff in here. But the primary purpose for this is for populating a city and running a city in your D&D campaign.
Mm-hmm.
This is 6 totally populated villages that you can just drop in your campaign.
Wow.
So that's a shortcut. We could just like pick one of them.
Mm-hmm.
So those are options. But wait, there's more. TSR actually made some stuff. The Dungeon Master's design kit, I think it's mostly... I need to like dig more in this. I don't know if there's something in here for generating a town.
Mm-hmm.
But there is stuff in here for generating dungeons and setting materials. There might be something in here for generating a town. By Harold Johnson and Aaron Alston. Harold Johnson made a bunch of stuff at TSR, but Aaron Alston is the guy who took all the basic expert, companion, master rule books, and he took all the gazetteers made for basic D&D, and he put them into one book called the Rules Cyclopedia.
Mm.
Before that, he was mostly doing like superhero game stuff, but he put together this really cool book called the Rules Cyclopedia that puts all the BECM D&D rules into one book. Anyway, awesome gaming guy. Anyway, so I don't know. I've never used this. I don't know how useful it is. But it's worth a look. And then City System. I've got it. I've had it for a while. I didn't pay a whole lot for it. It's a box set. It says it's for Forgotten Realms, but you could use it on anything. And it's got all this stuff in it for generating. Jeff Grubb and Ed Greenwood, geniuses. It's got all this stuff in it for generating towns and cities and encounters. So this is all about Waterdeep. And it's got tables in it for what you're going to run into. You could run into an old man who's eating. You could run into a concerned citizen. You could run into children at play.
Mm-hmm.
For the city of Waterdeep, it's got maps of the city of Waterdeep. I thought there was a town generator in here. I could have sworn. Holy cow. How many maps are there? Map 8 of 10. There are 10 maps. Is that it? I guess that's it. I thought there was a city generation system in here. See, you get these ideas. City building, city services, using this product. So it says city system, recurring situations, street scenes. I don't know. It looks like this is actually for this town of Waterdeep. So this might not be useful at all to us. This might not be useful at all to us. Okay. It's not what I thought it was. It's not really for use with the Forgotten Realms fantasy world. They weren't kidding. This appears to be just about the city of Waterdeep. There might be a way to finagle this to create a village. There might be a way to create a village in here. We know there's a way in here to create a village. I'm pretty sure there's a way in here to create a village. And this has populated villages we can just grab.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know. Should we start rolling up a village?
Sure.
Yeah?
Yeah. Probably.
Or should we grab one of these and just go?
I don't know what's in there. I don't know. There's 6. Are those villages or
6
cities?
populated fantasy role-playing villages. Made by a bunch of nerds playing D&D in San Diego in the 70s.
It can't be bad.
It can't be bad.
Yeah.
So let's start with this.
Yeah.
All right. So we're just going to roll up a village.
Yeah.
Using this.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Okay.
Let's try. We're going to try. We might crash and fail because we haven't done this before.
Yeah.
This might suck.
It may yet.
It may be a complete disaster.
What kind of dice we need for this?
Oh, you want to do the rolling too? Okay.
or whatever. I'm just
Uh,
pulling out dice.
all right.
I have them all by feet.
Okay, you do the dice thing.
Okay.
But I want you to record the things.
Okay, I can do that.
Okay. All right, and this is the Holy Dice Tower.
Holy dice tower.
All right, and here we go.
Okay.
We're gonna go. Already right off the bat. This booklet is intended to fill the need of any active campaign judge, which is a nice way to say dungeon master, to populate a large area. What? For his fantasy role players. The details are left sparse so the judge can. That's not so good for us. Adjust the material to his campaign and personalize it. Okay, but we don't want to metagame. We're solo gaming, so we need some colored pencils or pens. Can be used to great advantage to code the building and features. The maps are printed in gray to facilitate the dropping out of different features. The various charts are guidelines only, require a flexible approach. Okay. As some anomalies will develop if they're used without adjustment.
Okay.
To reflect type and alignment. So we might find some anomalies, and they know it. Oh, 1978. Okay. In Village Index, page 2. Okay. It says Village Index is on page 2. But this starts on page 3. And there's no page missing. Oh, this is the Village Index.
Ah.
They're considering this page 2. The cover's page 1. This is page 2. This is page 3. Okay. Table of contents. Wall sections and streets. What? It starts right off with wall sections and streets.
Okay.
And there's no option for no wall. Okay, we're not going to use this because we're not going to have a wall, right?
Yeah.
To determine wall height, multiply the number in parentheses on the wall thickness chart. Grates range from 6 feet to 36 feet high. That's a big grate. Wall length, to determine the length of each wall. So this is if you're drawing a village.
Yeah.
So we're going to skip that. We don't need to know the wall sections. Wall defenses, wall characteristics, we don't need that. Number of streets, we don't need that.
We've already got streets. Yeah.
Right. So
Okay.
what is the purpose of having a map if... Okay.
If population.
Street width? Do we want to know the street width and type? No, it's just a dirt road.
Yeah, that makes most sense. There's like 6 buildings.
There's
so,
there's 9 buildings. It's going to be a dirt road.
Yeah.
Forget it. Shop types. Here we go. Define the types of shops a village will have. Note first the number of shops the population will allow. See population chart.
It's right there.
Oh. Oh. Okay. So they call... Okay. So control the village shops requires a 20-sided die? That's a D100 chart.
Yeah, that's a D100 chart, and that's a D12. These are D20.
To roll for the village shops requires a 20-sided die, but if you look at...
Well, for these, to figure out the shops down
Oh,
here,
you need a
these
20
are
side.
D20,
Okay.
but I guess you have to figure out if what you're...
So this is also interesting. They call this the technological level chart.
Yeah.
Roll on the chart to find the technological level indicated.
That tells you which possible shops. You see here, they're leveled, so you have anarchy, democracy.
See, I wouldn't see this as a technology level, though.
It
Because
isn't, no.
look at it.
It's forms of government.
Exactly.
Yeah.
They're assuming that certain forms of government are certain...
They're assuming that a
technologies.
dictatorship is the highest...
Oh, really?
That's what feudal and dictatorship have the highest...
You're talking really quietly.
Sorry. It appears that feudal and dictatorship have the highest technology levels. I don't know.
So strange.
Yeah.
Like a democracy Could be ancient Greece, could be Athens, or
Yeah.
it could be, well, I don't know. I can't think of any other examples of democracy. We're a republic.
Yeah.
What's an example of democracy? Maybe some town. No, towns have councils. Those are like little republics.
Yeah.
So I mean, so does that mean that democratic is ancient Greek?
I guess.
Like tribal.
That's a whole lot of. I don't know.
I mean, there are tribal people now that live in the modern world, so that's very strange. A republic is a technology level, it says.
Yeah.
Very strange.
Religious tributary.
All right, but what this will do maybe is tell us what the government is like. So let's roll it.
Yeah. Okay.
A D12.
So D12, I got that.
D12.
D12. That's
One.
A 1. That's
It's anarchy. Write it down.
All right.
Anarchy. They have no mayor, no council. It's just a place where
Anarchy.
like they either agree to live together or they fight, I guess. It's anarchy.
Okay.
Interesting. So they're not helping each other dig a well or keep the road up. Nothing. It's just
Okay.
it is anarchy in this town. That's fun. Okay. Village population level.
So based on what your
yeah. So now we're gonna go
level
here.
is
We're gonna go here to. Oh,
no, we have to figure out what our population is first, right?
but that tells you how many shops there are. So this will tell you your population and how many shops there are.
Okay, so we have to figure that out.
Let's roll it, but I don't think it's going to be 400 people. But let's roll it.
Well, it can't be 400 people. We only have a village of 9 buildings.
We could say that everybody else is living in tents. Maybe like
Just scattered tents.
Maybe there's
everywhere?
been a gold rush lately, and there's freaking tents all over the place.
Okay.
I don't know.
D100?
Let's roll and see what happens. D100.
31.
31. Our population is 150. There's 9 buildings. All right, you gotta bleep that. No cussing.
Sorry.
No cussing. All right, you gotta bleep that.
I will.
All right. 150 people. Let's write it down.
Okay.
Write it down. Population 150. It says 3 shops. We'll see if we can make this match with that map.
Okay.
How could 150 people be there? Interesting.
Living within like, what is that? 500-foot hex.
Maybe there's stuff that isn't on the map.
That's true. Okay.
Maybe there's a tent city.
Maybe. Let's find out.
I don't know. Maybe there's a whole bunch of people that have been displaced from somewhere else that are living in tents.
It's a possibility.
Then that's why there's 150 people in the town.
Yeah.
Maybe a group of people just got kicked out of Nevon Nevnand and they've come here because they don't know where else to go. I don't know. Let's keep going. Okay, so anarchy, village shops.
We gotta roll 3 of those.
Oh,
3 shops, right?
Correct, 3 shops. So the first shop, D20. 10 is a weaver shop. Okay, write down. We got a weaver shop.
Weaver shop.
Next one is an 18. A jeweler. Uncut stones and bones. Wait a minute. Bones.
Bones.
Uncut stones and bones. So it's a jeweler that doesn't have cut stones.
But they do bones.
They have bones. It's making these people seem really primitive.
Yeah.
Maybe put primitive jeweler?
Okay.
Uncut stones and bones.
And by the way, I rolled a second weaver there. I rolled another 10.
Another 10. There's 2 weavers. Okay. So
should we re-roll one of those weavers?
No, and here's a why. Here's why.
Yeah.
Maybe that's a source of conflict. There's 2 weavers that are not liking each other because they have competition.
Okay.
Or maybe this is a village that herds sheep, and they've got big flocks of sheep they herd all over the
So
place.
maybe the people are mostly nomadic. And that's why there's 300 people. Maybe they're sheep herders and they're like, say, off in this
There's
river.
150 people that live in the area,
Yeah.
but there's only 9 buildings in the town.
Yeah.
And it's, yeah, I don't know. Like, they're living in yurts. I don't know. What? Okay. Let's say they're herding a bunch of sheep.
Yeah.
They shear the sheep. They got 2 weavers right there. They're making clothing out of the wool that they produce locally. Or let's say that the town primarily raises flax. Wouldn't raise cotton at this latitude, but you could raise flax. And flax is a plant that you make linen out of.
Mm-hmm.
So you're raising flax, and they're making linen right there in the town because they got 2 weavers. So they're making clothing out of linen or wool. There's ways of looking at that.
Yeah.
So let's leave it alone. We got 2 weavers, and we got a what? A jeweler.
And a primitive jeweler.
A primitive jeweler who does bones and uncut stones.
Yeah.
But seriously, if they're wearing bones as jewelry, who wears bones as jewelry? Maybe this is like a town of evil people.
I mean, it kind of sounds like it. They're
But we're in the Duchy of 10. They're druidic.
Oh.
Maybe they worship Nerul. Nerul is the Flan god of death and darkness. And so maybe that's why they're wearing bones, because they're a bunch of Nerul worshippers.
Perhaps.
There's a way to work this out, I think. Okay, next page.
I think so.
Number of government works to be rolled for. Then the column next to the roll for more than 1/3 of the shop. Roll for no more than 1/3 of the shops in that category. The remainder shall be rolled for from the lower technology. What?
We're the lowest though.
After locating the tech level, roll on the chart. Okay, after locating the tech level, roll on the chart in the tech level indicated. Okay, we did that. Roll for no more than 1/3 of the shops in that category. Okay, I think we did that. The remainder shall be rolled for from the lower technological levels. There is nothing lower, according to this, than anarchy.
Yeah. So does that mean
we just move on?
Yeah.
Okay. Next, agrarian, okay.
These are the other.
Okay. All right. Government works chart. Anarchy is none. So there's no town hall. Okay. Fine. There's no town hall. Oh, there could have been a castle if we picked feudal. Okay.
We rolled feudal.
Yeah. Okay. Naming villages. The following tables list first the prefixes and the suffixes. These are prefixes. These are all prefixes? Odd. Oh, these are suffixes.
Okay.
Dingle. Oh, I like
Dingle.
dingle. Okay. All right, so it looks like we got to roll a 1 to 20.
And then another 1 to 20?
What's this?
Well,
1A, 2A, 3A.
I think these are suffixes. No.
All right, hold on. Together, the 2 words rolled will usually combine into a reasonably good... Okay, the prefixes and the suffixes. So we want 2 words, both of which are rolled at the chart, as the chart indicates. However, if the name doesn't sound right, just roll it over again. Okay. The listing is an aid in creating names. So what's 1A, 2A, 3A?
Are the ones in the back also listed A?
What back?
The back of this page.
Yeah, that's the suffixes. It goes
Okay.
1 to 20, and then
another
even,
one.
odd and even. Oh, so you roll a 6-sided dice. Odd number you roll on this one, even number you roll on this one.
Okay.
So this looks like you roll a 1d20.
And then another 1d20.
And then another 1d20. So what's this at the end? Hang on. Occasionally try rolling 2 prefixes to be combined with 1 suffix. Or try using the list in opposite order. Once named, one can assume the name implies a legendary background for the village. Rebel Mound might be a village on a hill, inside of which is buried the treasure of a robber baron who is still remembered by the villagers. Use the part in parentheses to improve the sound. Okay. Likewise, parts may be pluralized or added to. With 460, okay, there's 368,000 possible combinations. I have no idea what 1A, 2A, 4A is. 1A. Maybe this is, if you roll a 1, then you pick one of these, and then you pick one from 1A.
Hold on, because the 20 says roll again 4-sided die, so maybe it's these 4.
Ah.
So then you roll
a 20
4-sided,
takes you to here.
Takes you to here. Okay.
All right, roll a 20-sider.
Okay.
2. Okay. So we're right here.
Yep.
So roll a 20-sider. 13. Okay, that is Bloom. Bloom, write down. Bloom.
All right.
Town name, Bloom. Okay, now roll a d6.
Okay.
We're choosing odd or even.
2.
It's even. Okay, then roll a d20. 6. Then roll a d20. 15. Peak. Bloom Peak.
Bloom Peak.
Bloom Peak. Go ahead.
Okay.
Bloom Peak.
All right. There is a hill on that map, although I don't know if
there is a hill on the map.
Peak. But we could say it's kind of a tall hill.
And it could have a lot of flowers on it.
Yeah.
Why are there flowers always growing on that hill? Maybe a battle was fought there long ago, and
it's like a burial and mound or something.
Maybe. Bloom Peak.
Bloom Peak.
Are we going with it?
Sure.
Building type. Oh. Number of rooms in each building. Okay. I don't know if I love this. Do you love this?
I don't know. It's a little wonky.
I don't love this.
Yeah.
Okay. So we number the buildings?
I guess.
Okay, so building number 1. Building type. Roll a 1d8.
1d8.
8. Palace. Man.
Palace. Why would there be a palace if the town is an anarchy?
Maybe it's a tower.
Okay. I mean, if
Maybe
we're going
it's a
by
magic user tower.
If we're going by the 20-foot hexes, then that's only roughly a 10 by 10 foot building.
Should we just re-roll?
I don't know. We could have like a... I don't know.
Try this. Roll a d6.
Okay.
Let's see what it's made out of. 4. Made out of field stones. It's a stone building and it's a palace. But it's small.
It's a 10 by 10 stone palace. Okay.
We'll roll this. Roll a d20. Let's see how many levels it has.
11.
Okay, so it's a building tower type. That doesn't make any sense. Weird. Look. One asterisk means building tower type.
Okay.
But there's no asterisk on any of these options.
Only a number of rooms.
Oh, 1. So that's a tower.
Yeah.
So what do we roll? An 11?
Yeah.
BTN. What does BTN mean?
No. Plus 2 UL? I don't know what that means.
Upper levels.
Oh, upper. Oh.
Plus.
BT.
This is the number of rooms.
Oh, so the number of rooms would be an 11 plus 2 up.
No.
No, I don't understand. What is BTN?
I don't know. Plus a number plus an upper level. And then here it lets you roll like what the upper level would be. I don't like this. All right, 11 is BTN. So say it's 3 rooms plus an upper level. Now roll a d20. 2. It's a 10 by 20 tower.
Okay.
It's a 2-story tower.
Okay.
I don't like this.
I'm not a fan either. It's kind of coming out a little weird.
All right. Let's try plan B.
Okay.
Let's see if there's a village we can just pull out of here and use.
Let's see.
Did you like that? I didn't like that.
I didn't like that so much either.
Okay. It's interesting. 6 populated villages for use with all whatever, blah, blah, blah. 1981. Raymond E. Feist. That's the guy who wrote all those books I just showed you.
Yeah.
Senior editor.
Mm-hmm.
So he goes on from making this stuff to being a major author in every bookstore, selling tons and tons of books. Okay, Goldcrest, a mining camp. Okay, this is not a mining camp. Let's hold on. 6 populated villages. Desert Oasis. No, we gotta skip. Wait a minute. What, is there a Desert Oasis? No. Smuggler's Cove? No. Northern Trading Center? Maybe. Maybe.
It's a possibility.
Tribal Hill Fort? No. Woodland Crossroad?
It's possible since it's near that.
Mining camp? No.
Yeah.
Why is it not a mining camp? Because it's miles away from.
From like a mountain.
Yeah. It's miles away from the hills.
It could be a trading center because there was this path through the mountains up here, and say, like a road could go to that hex. It's possible.
Say again.
Okay, so
Using this, how is this a mining center? If
I'm
the
not
mountains
mining
are
center.
here.
Not mining center. The Woodland Crossroad, but we would have to. We could make like the surround.
It doesn't have to be a woodland.
Yeah.
It could be a crossroad.
Yeah, because we've got this road coming from the mountains here.
Okay.
This mountain pass, and we could just say that it's a crossroad on the way to.
So you're not so into trading centers as you are into crossroad.
Either way, I think it could work.
It's
doesn't
not
matter to me.
the map we're using doesn't have a crossroad.
Okay, fine. So then trading center, fine.
Or
What are they trading?
shall we look?
Yeah, sure.
Page 27. Burka. Look at the artwork. I love the artwork. Man.
Yeah.
It's two people. One's got a club. One's got a torch, maybe. Maybe it's a mace. Can't tell. One's got a dagger. They're facing off. They're about to get in a fight. Love the artwork by Richard Edwards, A Northern Trading Center. Okay, we got a map. Ooh, it's got a wall and everything.
Looks like it's on the side of a river.
It's on the coast.
Yeah.
Can't use it.
Yeah.
Okay, let's look at your forest crossroads. Woodland Crossroad, page 49. Can't read that. I'm too blind.
What are you looking at? Oh, yeah, there you go.
Morrison's Roadhouse, a Woodland Crossroad, Wesley M. Diven. I mean, we could drop this like a hot rock and go with this. It's interesting.
Yeah.
Okay, maybe we should stop and read up on it off camera.
That's probably a good idea.
There is an inn, a stable with no sign, a mill with no sign, a granary with no sign, the Jakes. Don't know what that is. A brewery, I like that. Casks. A farmer, a barn, a res. What's a res? A chapel. An empty building. Ooh. A farmer and a barn. It's a small place. It's not a big place.
Yeah.
There's a mill. Number 3.
is.
There's a mill.
The grand. What is that? Yeah. Huh.
And we know which way is north, and there's a scale.
Yeah.
Let's stop recording. Let's read it.
Okay.
See if we want to use it.
All right. Sounds good.
Okay. Bye. We might be back. We might not.